everyone, welcome to the community stream. Sorry for those few seconds as usual when we start. It's just the time for me to see myself in the monitor, see myself on YouTube, hear the sound, check that everything is running before I get to talk to you guys. How are you doing today? And as always, are you able to hear me well and listen to me? Because if you don't hear my voice at all, that could be a problem. So let me know if everything um, is fine on the sound side of things, and we'll be waiting a few minutes as usual, and then we'll get started. As you can see, today is the first stream we do with the brand new UI going on. Actually, it's also why I'm showcasing the uh, commander screen. At this point, everyone should have the new version, both on iOS and Android available. So if you didn't try it yet, if you want to try it, just go to the store, install the latest version. At the moment, it's not what we called a forced update, meaning that we are not forcing you to download this new version yet. So you can install it if you want to. Then you will need to go to your settings, and I'm going to show you that right now. If you go to settings, you have an option at the bottom. Here, in my case, it says classic UI. If you don't have yet the new UI, it will tell you modern UI. And by this switch, you can restart the game with the new UI. We are not enforcing the new UI to anyone as of now. So you are completely free to try it. We really invite you guys try it out, but you don't have to be on the modern UI for the moment. And I would also like to mention for anyone that doesn't know, again, when you install the new version, you will not be on the new UI by default. For now, you will be on the old UI. So also for those that don't understand what I mean, I'm talking about the user interface. So this brand new menuing with the commander screen and all of that. If you want to go and try it out, you can do so by checking the settings once you're in the new version, latest update from the stores, install it from the stores, go to your settings, and you can change from the classic to the modern UI, or you can change back, obviously, from the modern to the classic UI at any time. The reason why we are not enforcing it yet is because it's brand new, it's a massive change, and there are tons of things that we changed. So we wanted to have some security that if anything was not working at all, we would not have to worry about our players not being able to access something in the game, but also because it's something we are still working on and improving on. And it will still be improved on quite a fair bit in the coming weeks and months. And as we get going, we will then move to the second phase where whoever installs the latest version will have the modern UI by default, but you can still switch via the settings to the old UI. And in a phase 3, there will be the point where everyone is on the new UI. The new players come in with the brand new tutorial, and there's no way to go back to the old UI. For those that would be wondering why we also want at one point to simply only focus on the new UI and don't grant access to the old one anymore, that's simply because we are introducing new features and we cannot work on features being available for both UI. That would be pretty much double the work, and we have to move on with this at one point. You already have some features that are only available on the modern UI, like the commanders, but there will be more as we get going. So we'll talk about that in a bit. But now, since it's been a few minutes, we should be able to start with the fight night. We'll start with the easy fight as usual. This one should be rather fast today. We have only 14 players there. We'll start with PZ9. Yeah, I'm not gonna give you all the name, but we have TW, we have Benuzet, Gorka Morka, Ariel is there. I see Faceless, Monte Cristo. So we have quite a few players that we are used to see in the fight nights. And then we'll move on to the hardcore and advanced fight nights. So let's start first with the easy fight. And so you might be wondering, for those of you that didn't try yet the new UI, what the hell is that? How do I go to PvP? And I'm going to share with you a tip that a lot of players are not aware of so far. The classic way to go to the fight, to the PvP mode, would be to click on fight and then on PvP in the game mode hub. That's 2 clicks, right? And some of you might want to go fast. And if that's the case, just know that every single event that will be in the events tabs on the left is redirecting you directly to the actual elements. So if you click on the current season, Age of Divination, you should be landing right in the PvP. That's the real point for us. And I'm just checking something. Yep. Okay. Sorry. My monitor was a bit late on YouTube. It went back just a second. Sorry about that. Yes, there we go. Sorry. I had like a 15 seconds delay with what I'm seeing on YouTube. And yeah, for anyone that has ever streamed, when you start to have too much of a delay, it can be a bit confusing as to what you're doing, what people are able to see or not, or hear or not. So here we are. Um, so yeah, easy way to get into the PvP is to just click the season banner that brings you to the PvP. And right now, because it's a test account that is not in a clan, etc., I don't have the other events. But on your regular accounts, you would also have your global red boss, you would have your bounty hunter and all that. And so by just clicking that on the main menu, on the main screen, you will go directly there. So that's a small tip I wanted to share with you. That's also a piece of it we already received from players. And I will just show you that. But I can tell you that going forward, we will be changing a bit uh, the headers for the events so that it tells you go to. So, there will be the scout events line, and just below where you see the Age of Divination season, instead of just saying the Age of Divination ends in 11 days, it will tell you go to the Age of Divination ends in 11 days. This way, you have an indicator for those that don't know that just by clicking on it, you are directly in PvP. Okay, with that out of the way, let's roll. Checking, yes, the event is running, so we should be all good to go. One point to also mention, in case you didn't see it, is that in here you can see a very on the right side of the screen, very interesting information that is brand new to this version as well. You can see your all-time victories, all-time defeat, and your current winning streak, as well as the best winning streak you had on this account. This one being the easy one. There's a lot of losses on my side, probably 2/3, exactly 2/3, pretty much. And the streak is not that high, but that can be very interesting for some of you. And we'll do a contest soon to see who has the highest winning streak of all. So with that out of the way, sorry, let's roll. Okay, the P9 account is probably an account that shouldn't be in there. I guess one got confused. I'm gonna check because I see that there's been 2 signups, so it's possible that someone has been typing their account wrongly a few times. Um, just be careful about that, guys. I know that this can happen, but you have to realize if you do this, you're potentially losing on rewards that you could receive. So yeah, in this case, that's an account that has been dead for a while that opened the fight night. It's not that great for us, obviously, but it's mostly not that great for the player that probably um, add a nickname pretty close to the actual player name. And I think I know what happened. Wait a minute. I'm quite sure I know what happened. I'm checking as we speak. Okay, no. I thought maybe this player put his player nickname instead of their player tag because their player tag, sorry, has no number. And when you have a player tag with no number, they can look pretty close to a nickname. So I was just wondering if that's the case, but that doesn't seem to be the case. So I don't know who that is. All I know is that it's a super old inactive account, and it's a bit sad that this account um, gets smashed, and most importantly, that you don't get the rewards you wanted. So be careful with your player tags if you want to participate in the fight nights in general. Okay, so outside of that, there's been very few changes to the fights themselves. As we said quite a few times, we don't plan on changing much here. There are a few things, a few elements of feedback that were already shared with us by some players. One of them is the place for the what we call internally the sandwich menu. So the menu that you see on the top right corner of the screen. This menu gives you access to the settings and a few different things. And depending on the resolution of your screen, it gets pushed up or down a bit. And that can sometimes hide the amount of trophies that your opponent has. So that's something we will be working on. Uh, it's also sometimes a bit confusing. Right now, I'm playing on an iPad, so the display is actually quite good. But for some players, I saw that they had the profile bar being very centered and very um, stretched out a bit. So that's something that is account specific, and we'll be working on that over the next couple of weeks. This part of the game should be pretty much identical to what you know from previous iterations. So that's something to work on. Okay, it seems that Arigol also had a weird fight. Where are you, Arigol? Usually you are winning, so why was it, Arigol? You didn't want to play that fight, or you forgot and you left an army that is not the one you wanted to have in there. I'm not sure. In any case, thank you for the win. I also like to win at times. That's not too often, so yeah. Now we have Razan, that's a way more experienced players. So I should get my ass kicked right now, most likely. And you can see that the blue bars are pretty few and pretty low already. So I see that there was Hydro in this army setup. There were some complaints about Hydro being too powerful, etc. I can tell that the team is working on that as well. Well, probably not nerf Hydro too much either, but that's definitely something we are considering for the next era, and that will be looked into for sure. In a similar topic, since there were questions about that, this era we have a rather weird situation with how do you call it? Sorry. We have a weird situation with the supercharge. Sorry, I was looking for it. Supercharge Power Stone. What happened this era is that we changed the supercharge Power Stone because when you get supercharge 1 and supercharge 2, you are able to have 100% effect, which simply was too big. So we decided to change that. The problem is that um, supercharge, when you make it unique, when we made, sorry, supercharge 2 unique, we ended up with this problem that players could still put supercharge 1 on top. So if you have 4 slots available, that means you could still potentially get to 100% because you could have one supercharge 2 and two supercharge 1. But also, you add some players, even with just 3 slots open for their unit, that would be able to get to 75%, while some other players could only go to 50%. And why is that? It's because if you add a supercharge 1 and you replaced it with supercharge 2, you might have not been able to put a supercharge 1 back in, because if you had no more supercharge 1 in stock, you couldn't do it. But people that still had a supercharge 1 in stock or replaced another power stone with supercharge 2 ended up in a situation where they could have the two supercharged power stones. And that led to an unlevel battlefield and something a bit unfair. So what we decided to do to sort that out for this final season and for the rest of the era is that we granted the access to supercharge 1 and supercharge 2 in the power stone packs. This is exceptional. It's not going to be available anymore in the future. It's going to be, you have supercharge 1, and when supercharge 2 comes in, supercharge 2 is unique, and that's it. And that won't go any further than that. And it's even possible that we make supercharge 1 unique as well, so that we prevent any issues. But that's pretty much the situation right now, and why you are right now able to have supercharge 1 and supercharge 2. So just so you know why that's the case currently. We are fighting Monte Cristo, who was our final player for this round for the easy fight night. So I'm just waiting for that fight to finish. Then we will close the easy fight night and move to the big one for today. By the way, I need to find the portrait that Monte Cristo is using. I'm sure I don't have this one on the test accounts, but I want it. I think I've never seen this one before. Get a lot. I like it a lot. With the fox, looks very good. Okay, so let's get the rewards granted. And let's go to the hard fight night. So let's change our account. One thing that I spotted with this new version, and I would be interested in getting some feedback from you guys, is that when I start the game, it's usually a bit more laggy than it used to for the first like 1-2 minutes. But then I actually spotted that it ends up being faster in fights and such than it used to. So that's something a bit interesting. And I would be interested to know how it looks for you. And also, I can confirm. Sorry, guys. Yeah, my headset still from time to time logs off. Yeah. Um, I was also saying that I just spotted that my YouTube keeps on bringing me back to previous part of the stream. So it moves me back to like 5 minutes ago from time to time. So suddenly I look at the screen and like, why? Why is there this screen showing? So yeah, that's a bit of a weird thing that is happening today. I hope it won't be lasting for too long. Also, for those of you that are into cute things, I just realized you haven't seen that so far, but here's my doggo that basically decided, hey, why not just sleep there? You know, So yeah, I think you never saw that dog in the stream so far. So this is our um, female Shiba Inu. She's 7, almost 8 now. Anyway, let's move on with the advanced and hardcore fight nights. I will start the event now. So for the fight night, we are going to fight Sam. Then we have DeadReapingHood, Admiral, SYSOP, King Elric. We have Drakaya, Ghostin, 007, Saint John, Veringer, Nicholas, Dahak, Scar, Gamer. Pretty much, all the crew, all the guys you've known for years. They're all there. They're all there. So again, showing you the same tip as earlier. You do not need to go into the fight screen if you just want to go to the PvP right away from the main screen. You just click there, tap on the season, and you're there right away. So let's get right into it. You can see that on this account, actually my best winning streak is the one I have going currently. So if I win this upcoming fight, that means I'm going to break my record. So let's see if we are able to do that, get to 19 victories in a row, which is pretty bad. But again, keep in mind, I'm fighting in the fight nights mostly with these accounts. Okay, so the event is on. Everything is ready. Let's roll. We should be facing Sam. There we go. Oh, Sam is rocking those level 6 artifacts already. That's really the next thing I need to do. I need to level up to level 6 artifacts. I didn't want to do it too early. I was waiting for a fair amount of you to have at least one. But I see now that we have more and more of them. So I will definitely do that. Also, this means my streak is gone and I might never win 19 fights in a row. So yeah, I hope we'll be able to do that. For the time being, not much to do. So we are now against DeadReapingHood. Wait, is that a skin for the displacer? I think I've never seen that one yet. It's super weird. I like it. I like it. I like it. It's super weird, but I like it. I will definitely try to do something with that the next time. Uh, yeah, I like it a lot. That's cool. Okay, so then talking about news for the game in general. As we already discussed, that's the new UI. That's the main thing at the moment. We have quite a few things we want to optimize. Before anyone talks about it, yes, let's address the elephant in the room, the shop. We know the shop is too big, and it's literally the elephant in the room. Um, the reason behind it is that we cannot easily, technically, show different banners for the same offers on the modern and the old UI at the same time. So it is something we're working on, and either we are able to change that and have the different banners, etc., even if it's the same offer on the two different version of the same game, in which case that would allow us to fix that pretty soon. Otherwise, it is possible that the shop would only be fixed with a better look by the time we get to the point where people are only on the new UI. That's also a possibility, but it will be addressed. And yes, we fully agree with anyone. This is not the best looking at the moment. What I can say though for the store is that we do not want it to be super small either. The previous store had the main default that because it was only on one side of the screen, it ended up being quite small. But I know that the shift from being only half of the screen and rather small to being full screen and very big is massive. So it's definitely not ideal right now, but we'll probably not make it as small as it used to either. If you want an idea of how we would like for it to look, especially for the special offers, is pretty similar to what you see when you scroll down a bit and you start seeing 4 or 6 elements on one single line in the store. That's what you will probably see once we get going with the full design for the store. Right now, the offers, they're taking the entire space and it's just way too big, and we don't want that. That's for sure. But at the same time, we will need this to get things going as well. Okay, so that's one of the big things I can say we're going to be taking care of. There are a few bugs that were reported by different players already, mostly small display bugs, and that's going to be sorted. Obviously, we're going to work on that. And we're also still going to work on optimizing some of the placements, some of the icons. And the main thing that players complained about, which I mentioned also earlier, is the fact that depending on the resolution of your screen, some of the fonts get too small, or some of the uh, elements like the player profile at the top, the banner with the portraits, the artifacts, and all of that is being too small. That's also something we want to work on. We will make sure that this is not too small, that it's not moved either, because sometimes it's not centered anymore. That's something to be worked on. So there are a few things like this, minor things that we'll definitely work on. Then the next big feature we're working to implement into the game, there will be two of them. The big one will be the commander features. Now that the commanders are out, we want them to bring actual bonuses and effects, etc. I cannot tell you too much yet, but the plan for the commanders, the current plan is that it would have three different dimensions. One of them is cosmetic, so we want for you to be able to buy potentially skins for your commanders, but the plan is that those skins would have effects. So you can see it a bit more like an RPG where you buy a sword or you buy an amulet or those kind of things. So you can see your commander changing and you get the effect of it as well. So that's one of the things we're looking into. The other thing we're looking into is uh, what we call skill tree. So the idea would be you will need, by participating in 2 events, etc., you will be getting a special currency that allows you to level up your commanders. And since it's a skill tree, you will have to make choices. So the commanders won't have the same um, abilities that they develop into. And that would mean you have to pick the commanders you want to level up and pick the commander that fits the best with your current setup, etc. So if you want to change your setup, you might also need to think which one is working the best with the commander that you have leveled up, etc. So it brings this strategic aspect. But it also means that when we have the events that we have right now, which is the faction war, we could also decide, hey, for this faction war, this commander has a buff, and so everyone will try to make it make a build that works for them with this commander. Or the other way around, if we see that a commander is used by everyone, we might decide to nerf it for a specific season to kind of get things going. It's more something we would do like we're doing right now for the final season, just for a bit of extra fun at the end of an era. But that's one thing that could happen. And yeah, the third dimension is the effects themselves, the buffs that we might get. So this is roughly what we're looking at right now: cosmetics, skill tree, sorry, and effects, bonuses, and such. That's roughly what you can expect from the commanders, and it would probably be a long grinding kind of thing. So not necessarily as long as the artifacts are right now, but the idea is not that you can go through the skill tree of your commander in 2 months either. It's going to be taking time. This way, that's something that can get people also involved on the longer run. And unlike the artifacts where you have only a few steps, since here we would be talking about skill tree, you would have a lot more steps along the way, ideally. So that's what we're looking at the moment for the commanders, and we hope we'll be able to bring that without spending too long. So I'm not going to give you any time frame yet, but we don't want the commanders to be there in December or anything like that. So it will come ideally a lot earlier than this, and not even ideally, it has to come way earlier than this. But I'm not going to give you any specific time frame yet. In the meantime, one thing that will come very soon, that is planned for the coming month already, for May, will be the Wheel of Fortune. So that's something you know from pretty much any game in the world. What we are going to do is that in the shop you will have access to a Wheel of Fortune. Every day you have a free token to get a free reward out of the 8 rewards that will be offered. And if you want to keep rolling, you will be able to watch ads to get extra rewards from there, or you will be able to spend some gems to get extra rewards. Long story short, as you know, with these kind of things, there will be one or two of those rewards that are super exclusive, super cool, like skins and those kind of things. Um, Other rewards will be a lot more basic, like some gold, some gems, etc. And obviously, there's a percentage of chances to land on each one of them. So most of the days, for most players, it's just going to be a small addition for free and without having to watch any ads, etc. Because you only have to do that if you want more than one tries a day. But if you just want your one try a day, you will have one try for free. Most of the time, you will get a small reward, but from time to time, you will get a bigger one. So that's something we will be adding. Again, it's not a big thing. It's something that ultimately benefits everyone, because if you're a free to play player, that's a free reward on top. If you are not too annoyed by watching ads, you will get maybe 2 or 3 more additional rewards every day by watching 1 or 2 ads. I don't know yet if it's going to be allowing you 1 ad or 2 ads a day on there. And then if you want to spend some gems because you have an extra amount of gems that you don't know where to use, or because the skin we've put in there is one of the ones you really, really want, you will have the option to use a bit more gems. For us, it's also beneficial because that's a few more ads that are watched, and that's also a way to get people to spend a bit more gems, which is always good for the game economy. So ultimately, it's a thing where everyone is winning. At the beginning, it will be very basic. On the longer run, this one might get extended with like several levels, meaning that for those that want to use gems, they would be able to level up their um, their Wheel of Fortune and get better rewards. But at the beginning, this won't be in there. At the beginning, it will be very straightforward, and we'll see how used it is. If it gets used a fair bit, or if we see that players like to spend gems there, we might indeed go with this uh, next tiers, um, which is also something pretty common. And the other thing that might also come into play on the longer run is to offer in different events and stuff like that tickets for the um, for the Wheel of Fortune. So right now you will get one ticket for free and that's it. But maybe at one point, maybe in the daily quest or something like this, that could be also a reward to get an extra. Instead of getting a small amount of gold, you could get this ticket, which might get you roughly the same amount of gold, but might also get you a better reward if you're lucky. So that's something we might be considering as well on the longer run. So yeah, commanders and the Wheel of Fortune, that's the next things coming. After that, as we've discussed quite a few times, our main focus will be on bringing the clan wars to the game. So for the clan wars, what can I tell you? Because there are stuff that I cannot tell. I'm trying to sum up on what has been discussed so far. And what I can discuss that would be a bit news for you as well, because that's what is interesting, right? Is if I can tell you stuff you are not yet aware of. So for the clan wars at the moment, what we are looking into is to have pretty much you would enter the event, you decide that you want to go to war, so that would be your clan leader decides, okay, the clan is going to war. You get matched against a clan of a similar strength, and there's a preparation phase. The preparation phase would be pretty much the leader and the people from the clan are discussing with each other, okay, who wants to attack who, how should you change your layout. You would have an offensive and a defensive layout, each one of the participants. So you would set up your defensive layouts based on who you think might be attacking you, and prepare your offensive layout, etc. It is also possible that in the very first version you have only one layout that is both offensive and defensive, but more than likely there would be two layouts. Then, after the preparation phase, we would move to the fights. What would happen in the fight is that you have collectively a certain amount of points that you need to reach. And if you reach this amount of points, your clan is winning that war. This means, let's say that the clan in front of you um, has 10 players in, you have your 10 players in as well. If at as the best player of my team, I attack the weakest of the other team, that I am 10 times stronger than this guy, I'm going to get a very low amount of points. I can have more points. I will come to that in a minute, but it's not going to be where I would get the most points. To get the most points, I need to attack the people that are closest to my scoring, so to my overall power of my units, or um, even go for people that are supposedly stronger than me if I have a better strategy when I want to attack them. So that can be something. You would have a certain amount of tries per day to attack, so not everyone can attack consistently. And when a player has been attacked, there will be a cooldown, which means a clan cannot just decide to spam and attack only one player constantly. That won't work. You would have to attack everyone pretty much in order to make the best and get the highest score and be able to win the war. In case none of the clans are able to get the number of points needed, because when you will get points, the other clan is losing points. When the other clan gets points, you are losing points, kind of feel. If no one is able to make the final move, then at the end of the full timer for the war, we will look at who has the most score, and that will be the clan that wins the war. Now, what makes the clan wars different in terms of mechanism than your regular fights is that instead of just a fight between two players, as you see on the screen right now, you will have a tower to defend on the battlefield. Meaning, if your opponent is able within the time of the battle to kill all your units and defeat you, they get some points. If they're able to defeat you and destroy your sorry guys, I had to wait for it to start. So yeah, if you are able to kill your opponent's army and kill the tower, you will get more points. So that's one thing that we are working on. And also, if you lose the fight, but you manage to deal damages to the tower, you will also get some points. So with this system in place, we change the strategy a bit, because it's no more just about winning the fight by killing the last man. It's winning the fight, but also trying to kill the tower, because depending on how strong your opponent is, maybe you might do a super protective and defensive build that is just there so that no one gets anywhere near your tower. And in this case, yeah, players will defeat you, but they might not get to your tower, which is what you wanted to protect. In other builds, some players might be like, hey, you know what? I don't care. I just want to be defeating the opponent, even if I don't manage to kill their tower within the time frame. I just want to kill all of their army, because that's also a good way to defend my tower. Because no matter if you're attacking or defending, your tower would be there and points could be taken. So I'm giving you the broad concept. It will still be refined and it might be changed, etc. But the idea is to bring this uh, tower defense, but not in a classic tower defense way, into the gameplay. I would say, from what I've seen so far and the concepts, it looks more like a MOBA style, League of Legends type of fights. Of course, League of Legends within the concept of Battle Legends, so it's still the split battlefield, etc. It's nothing extra fancy, but the fact that you now have an objective on the battlefield, um, outside of just killing your opponent's army, that makes it a bit different, and that can create brand new armies setup, brand new strategies, and mostly it will create a different gameplay, which is what we wanted for the clan war mechanism that we're looking into. And once all of that is done, once you're won a battle, you get a ranking based on the points that you have, and this ranking will determine with your clan the next team you're going to fight with. And if the event is running for 5 days or whatever, the wars will only last a few hours. So you could go back to back to back into different wars again and again and again. You can also decide to only declare war and go to war a bit less whenever you see that you have people online that can react and adapt their strategy depending on who's there and who's been attacked. The thing is, because we've added battle reports to the game now, you will get battle reports, right? So you will know who has been attacking who. So you can then say, oh, actually, this guy attacked me, so he cannot attack. He only has 2 attacks left, so he will probably attack that guy instead of me. You can have a better understanding of the strategy of your opponents, pretty much based on what you will see, and that's gonna be quite interesting to see and decide how things will be going. That's the rough concept that we have. The takeaway you can keep from this discussion is that the fights, the clan wars that we're looking into, there will be this tower defense kind of mechanism, and it would be about getting more points than your opponent in the fight, more points than the opposing clan by attacking the players directly. On the longer run, we would like to expand on this concept so that it's not only, or rather, it's not points anymore, but it would be points of interest. So, meaning same concept, except that the 2 clans would be on a map, and on the map you can attack other players, or you can attack points of interest as well. When you attack another player, you have the same thing. You have the tower that you can hit to get more points, etc. Or if you attack a point of interest, there will be a bot kind of defense that is there, and if you beat it, you as a player get to control that point of interest, and someone else can attack you as well. So that would add another layer of strategy, because the teams would have to decide who are the players that just protect the points of interest, who are the ones that are trying to conquer, other points of interest, etc. Because one single player in this scenario would not be able to be in charge of more than 1 or maybe 2 points of interest on the map, or maybe 3. I don't know. It depends on how many there would be on the map. So that's one thing we're looking into. And once we add that, it's even possible that it's not more just two clans on the same map. It might be 3, 4 clans, and in those cases, it might be that the clan wars are lasting like one day, one full day with one map, and the next day you go to another map, etc. And at the end of the week, you have a full leaderboard of where your team stands, depending on who you were fighting against, the number of points you got, and you would get points for keeping a certain point of interest for a certain points, how much domination you had on the map, those kind of things. The last point that we might introduce as well on the longer run again would be an actual uh, palace or castle to defend on that map. That would be pretty much, the ultimate way to defeat a clan is if you are able to defeat their castle on top of all the stuffs we mentioned. And if we are going in that direction, then this castle would also be a way to offer some customization and stuff like this for your clans. Again, as I said, this is pretty much what we would do in second or third phases of the clan war. So don't expect that to come anytime soon. It would take time. What you will most likely see this year would be the regular clan war that I initially described with the tower defense mechanism, leaderboards, and basic attacking system. And that will be the bread and butter for the clan wars. Once those mechanics are in place, then we can expand on it um, depending on how things are going. But that's basically the idea for us, is getting the event out ideally this year, and then on the longer run we can develop the other dimensions to make this event even bigger. Ideally, we'd like for it to become a big thing, not only because it's what those kind of games are built on, but also because it will just be a lot better of an experience altogether. Destroyer 2, I think yesterday you were complaining about the game lagging a bit. It's your setup, dude. Like, I mean, look at how much laggy the game is with your setup. You have too many wagons. Not wagons, how do they call them? Yeah, it's the wagons, right? You have too many of those units. It's making the game crack. It's yeah. Yeah, the game is struggling with your setup. I can say that for sure. Now that there's on, yeah, now it's over. But during the draw, since there were a bit less units, that was okay. But at the beginning of the draw, man, that was lagging so much. Yeah, it seems that you guys are all into wagons today. So we are. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I'm checking where we stand at the moment. Okay, we are roughly halfway done for this actual part of the fight night. Okay. So on my end, those are the main news I can give you for the stuffs that are coming. There will be other stuffs, right? Don't get me wrong. It's not because I talked about the commanders and the clan wars that nothing else will happen until the end of the year. What I meant is that those are the real big features you can see this year. Smaller stuffs like the Wheel of Fortune that I just mentioned, but also a few other smaller stuffs that we're considering. Those can come along the way, and there will be stuffs for sure. But just the very big features, that would be the commanders and clan wars for sure. We right now obviously focus on getting the UI properly sorted, all the small defaults, small stuff fixed. I know that a few of you as well are um, sharing some mixed feedback about the UI. A lot of you are liking it, but some of you feel like, okay, maybe it's not exactly what they had in mind, or it's not how they would like it to be. So just know that we understand that this is a big change and not everyone is going to like it. And especially, not everyone is going to like it at first. Those are cases where it takes time to really get used to it. So, part of the feedback that we received so far is very valid um, complaints or small stuffs we can improve on, and we will do that. Part of the feedback received is something where we simply know that it's a, a fact of getting used to it. And there's a part of it that will remain. Like there's some things that will just need people to also be getting used to it for some elements. Like for example, I know some of you right now are not too keen yet on having the commander screen as the place where you land when you launch the game. The thing is, we need this because, to be honest, that's pretty much the industry standard. If you introduce a feature like the commanders, which we are doing, you have two ways to go. Either you land directly on a gameplay mode page, or you have your commanders page. But the fight that we were landing on with your army, etc., it's cool when the game is fresh and very simple. But the more you add content to it, the commanders, the faction advantages, we have added the GRB, we will be adding the clan wars. The more you add to it, the least this kind of presentation works. And with the game up kind of thing, we tried and we've seen as well other games trying to have a game up and the info on the same page and all the stuffs about your profile, etc. But it gets extremely cramped very quickly. So there might be optimizations into how it looks. We'll make it look better. We'll rework some icons, some placements, etc. But from what I can see from the tests we've done, it's very likely we'll stick to the commanders as a screen you land on. It's also because the commanders themselves are going to be a huge selling point for new people joining the game because, and even for people that have been in the game for a while, because there's no place in the game where you can see a unit this big and with this amount of details and with this amount of animation that you can actually see. And when we'll start adding cosmetics, etc., it will become something you're quite happy to see. And because the commanders also bring this kind of slightly RPG feel to the game, it also makes sense that you get this kind of RPG feel from the UI as well. So yeah, there are some stuffs we're gonna change for sure. Some stuffs I'm not sure will change. In general, it's also something that we are testing, right? We are never making a change that wouldn't work for us, obviously. So that means ultimately, if you feel like something doesn't work the way it is, but we keep it there no matter what, the reality of it is that it's probably something that works very well for most of the other players. And I'm saying this because there are some stuffs on which, we'll never get everyone to like it, especially because you've been used for 5 years or even close to 6 for some of you to specific specific presentation of the game. And what we've done with this UI change is quite radical. So it's normal that some of you might not like it at all. Some of you might want some small changes, which we will do. Some of you might want big changes. Some of them we might do. Some of them we probably won't. And some of you already like a lot the new UI. We got also a lot of positive feedback so far. In any case, all the feedback we received, even if it's for things that we do not plan on changing for now, it's very valuable because it's important also to keep touch with what the players like. And if, as I was saying, if all of you are unhappy about an element, it would change. That's guaranteed. And when I say all of you, I don't mean every single player. Just if most of the players are unhappy about something, that would change because that's UI, and the UI is there to help the players. But if you are complaining about something, you see a few people making the same complaints, and we're telling you that we're not changing it, that means all the studies we've done, all the A/B tests we've done, shown that for the very, very vast majority of players, it's not an issue. And I'm just saying this because I know that once we will move to the full version of the UI, there will for sure still be a few things that some players will feel like, oh, I preferred this another way. That's guaranteed to happen. But again, if we get to a point where you appreciate most of the new UI, most of the new stuffs we brought, most of the new features that are there, obviously that will already be a big achievement for us, and we'll be happy already if you like most of it. If we can get you guys to like every single aspect of it, it's perfect. But the reality of it is, with all the players that are on the game, there will always be some people that will prefer some aspects of the old UI. We have to respect that, uh, but we also have to go on, and there won't be the possibility to change absolutely everything based on every single demand we'll get. That being said, the new UI is still there to be upgraded in the coming weeks, and probably 1 or 2 months, I would say, for it to be fully ready for everything, including the shop and those kind of things. So it will take a bit of time, but we will be getting there, that's for sure. Oh, Amir showing off with the 3 level 6 artifacts. Sorry, I commented on Amir. We are already way past that. It's just that again, my screen came back in time on YouTube. Why you do this to me today, YouTube? You're mean to me today. What is up? Um, that make me think. Actually, I'm not sure if any of you are in this situation, but if some of you were in Spain or in Portugal this week, I know there's been a massive blackout, and you know that there was no access to electricity, etc. So I hope you're safe. I hope that everything went okay. I live nearby, so I was lucky. I was not impacted at all. But I was in a call with a colleague of mine that is from Spain, pretty much when this happened. And at the moment it happened, I had no idea what was going on. It's only a few hours later that I got the information that she didn't just have a small technical issue, and that basically the entire country blacked out. So yeah, in case you were in this situation on Monday, I hope you're doing good. I hope that it didn't bring too much damages on your side. And yeah, oh, seems like my dog got bored of listening to me talk for too long. And that's when it's actually fun to have the replay on YouTube, because I was able to see my dog uh, jump now, pretty much. So you see the delay that I'm dealing with right now. It's not usual. Usually I have 3, 4, 5 seconds, which makes perfect sense because, you know, between the moment it gets streamed and then uploaded, you expect a few seconds. But yeah, today I don't know. Yeah, as I was saying today, I don't know why, but really um, the YouTube stream is simply not good today. There's a latency that I'm not used to. I will check after the stream if this is something that is happening globally. or if this is something that is pretty much just on my end, which that can happen at time as well. Since we were talking about the UI, I would also like to mention that we will be sharing with you guys probably early next week or by the end of this week a survey regarding the new UI so that you can actually share your feedback with us, but mostly that we can ask for more specific questions and satisfaction about the new UI. It will be a way to collect some more feedback, and you will enter a draw to get some prizes as well by answering the survey. It will be shared on our usual platform, but most likely we will also share it in game. That's almost guaranteed. Okay, so it seems right now that the delay is not too long. Trying to see how long is it. Yeah, you see, I got back up, what, like just a few minutes ago. I checked to be back on time. And right now on the YouTube screen, I just finished the battle that I was looking at when I said that I was checking the delay. So we're talking about at least 40 seconds of delay that cumulated in just 2 minutes. That's insane, YouTube. What is up with you, YouTube? You need to give me some explanations because things are running quite smoothly besides that. And I don't know why the stream is going that way. I can see, by the way, that on my side, uh, the stream speed is pretty good. The CPU usage, everything is good on that end. So it really seems to be specifically YouTube that does that. I don't know if it's the same for you, if it's running a bit slow today. Again, I will check on that after the stream and see if that can be the case. Neptune, that's a brave move. With only level 1 artifacts, you went to the hard fight night. Yeah, that's brave. You deserve all the respect for that. Uh, yeah, quite surprising, to be honest. I'm also checking because I'm wondering if Neptune. Let me see. Ah, I think Neptune might be in this weird situation that I was describing earlier of a player that actually put its nickname, but because its nickname is also a player tag, and I asked for the player tag, it ended up not showing me the good player. And that would have been the case for a few events already. So I'm checking that right now to see if that's the case. But if that's the case, that's a bit sad. We got to find a solution for this. I'm not gonna keep on getting accounts that are not what they're meant to be. That's a bit sad for you guys also because that means you're losing on rewards, but you don't check on it. So it's pretty weird. Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know, Neptune, what was going on there. Yeah, not sure to understand. That's okay. To each his own, after all. You have no obligation to participate to win. It's just a bit surprising that you wouldn't try to go to the easier fight night then. Just rechecking as well. Rechecking something too. But yeah, okay. I was just rechecking in case I've been stupid enough, but no. Um, if you can win the easy fight, you still have more reasons to go in the easy fight because you get 200 gems for a win than to go to the hardcore mode where you will get 150 gems for a loss. The only exception would be if you feel like you're not going to be able to beat even the easy fight. And okay, the game. What happened? Not sure if the game crashed or if a broken account. Let me see. On the play, what happened? Yeah, the fight finishing. Okay, crashed on the. So I'm gonna check on that right away. We'll see what caused that. Let's see. By the way, since that's a crash, I totally blame Destroyer 2 for making the game super laggy earlier. That has to be the reason, right? For the crash. I mean, that can happen in what? It's been now 2 years almost that I make these streams with you guys, and we barely ever lost it. So, okay. Also, I see that I have a unit that is gone now. So that's rather weird. Hmm. Okay, that's odd. Let me check something very quick. Just rechecking one thing. Oh no, apparently it was already the case as well when I launched the army at the beginning. There was already an issue. It seems like I've been stupid enough to run the army yesterday evening, make a final change of a unit that I added, and forget to run a fight, which means that the unit is not showing up. That's a shame, but that's my fault. So yeah, that's good for you. That would explain why my winning rate is so bad today. That also means to any one of you that has not been able to beat me today with this army, you're in mind. I was not even able to. I was not even using all of my army points. Anyway, let's get back to it. We'll also need to check. So we're against Rib. Let me check if it's who we're supposed to face. Yes. I will check with the backdoor if he received its reward. It seems like it's the case, but we'll check on that after the stream just to make sure. And I see that none of you told me anything about the fact that I was not having all of my army points used. That's so unfair of you guys. You could have told me. I mean, that's my mistake, so I'm not gonna blame anyone else. But anyway, okay. So now we have Pataglu. I do like a lot Pataglu's portrait as well. I don't know why it is, what it is with the portraits. There are always so many portraits that I feel like I've never seen before. I don't know why that's the case, but it is definitely the case. There are so many of them that I just watched them and I'm like, yeah, I've never seen that one before. I don't know. Maybe I'm forgetting. This is very likely. Maybe there's just something weird with portraits. Maybe there's just so many of them. Maybe I don't pay attention to them enough. I don't know, but there's something with portraits. I always feel like I've never seen this one or that one. Some of them might be also quite recent, and that would be why, but still, I'd love to know what has happened there. So anyway, there we are. So we are against Pon now. We still have about 15 players to go. We have the DDoS, we have Run2, Small, Jarm, PSK, Riondo, Noof, Zuriel, Testoviron, Bal, Black Hat, Frank, Rosario, White Hat, Lewis, and we will finish with Redney Dupek. And that will be the final fight for today. Hey Shilius, welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing well. We talked about quite a few things that you will probably be interested in today. Mostly, we talked about the plans for the commanders, the plans for the upcoming fight, the upcoming clan wars, sorry, and also talked about the next addition to the game, which will be the um, how do we call them? The Wheel of Fortune, sorry. And we also talked about what we plan with the UI and what are the changes that we are already working on and the ones that will be coming. So yeah, we covered quite a fair bit in the last hour or so that we spoke. We also got a crash that I completely blame on Destroyer 2. But yeah, that's something that can happen. It's rare, luckily, that we have crashes. The crash rates also on the game is overall rather small at the moment. Sorry, I was looking back because it seems like one of my dogs want to get in again. Um, that's also what you missed earlier, Shilias. In case you wanted to see a cute dog, you will have to rewatch the stream um, because our female Shiba Inu was in there sleeping on the couch behind until she got tired of hearing her owner speak to himself for an hour, and then she decided it was time to go to sleep somewhere else. So let me see where we are right now. Oh, okay, the fights are running quite fast now. Oh, that fight against Jam reminds me that I wanted to do something with the Mantis. I need to find a build that would work with that. Oh, I didn't tell you that I had a bad surprise yesterday as I was setting up my army for this stream. I realized that what I thought would be super useful ended up not being super useful. I thought I would be able to benefit from using the battle reports to just, fight, friendly fight an army that I liked and just take their information to make my life easier. And it didn't work because I forgot that for now the battle reports are not available in friendly fights, but only in the PvP. So, yeah, I was quite calm. I was feeling pretty chill yesterday. After work, it was like, okay, I'm gonna set up the armies. It's gonna be breeze now that we have the battle reports. And I launch a fight, and yeah, that's when I realized, like, yep, no, that's not gonna work. I need to go the old way and just try to figure out using some screenshots and stuff what the player I wanted to take inspiration from was actually doing. So yeah, it could have been easier, but that's not the way it went. So I had to deal with that. But that's not a big deal. Okay, guys, we have about 10 players left at this point. So if you have any further questions, or any questions actually, any remarks, just go for it. Let us know, and we'll cover that before we end this stream and this fight night. Again, as a reminder, for those of you that are joining or watching the replay, because I know a lot of you are watching in replays, if you go earlier into the stream, you will be able to get more information about the concept for Clan Wars, what we're working on for the UI. Now that it's been released, there are still a lot of small stuffs we want to fix, correct, adapt, etc. And we're talking as well about what we plan for the commanders and the upcoming small feature, which is the Wheel of Fortune, which should come already in May. In general, just to give a broad idea for the commanders features, I would say, or let's take a step back. What we'll probably be doing for the game is you will have the Wheel of Fortune release, all of the UI changes applied, and phase 2 and 3 of the UI, where phase 2 is anyone that launches the game is on the new UI by default, and they can revert back to the old UI. And then phase 3 is everyone is on the new UI, and that's the only one available. So first we'll have the Wheel of Fortune, then we'll do all the changes we need on the UI for phase 2 and phase 3. And after phase 3, that's when we probably will have the commanders features coming in. Not sure yet if the commander feature will come at in one go or in 2 or 3 different steps. Because, for example, the cosmetics don't necessarily need to come at the same time as the skill tree and those kind of things. And then for the clan wars kind of aspect, it's probably going to be for the um, second half of the year, and probably on the last quarter that you can expect something like this. Again, that doesn't mean there won't be anything between the commanders features and the clan war initial release. There can be smaller stuffs that will come as well, smaller features even, but stuffs that are not going to be as development heavy as those main ones. In terms of big development, we're mostly looking at the UI, the commanders, and the wars. For the small things, we're looking at things like, as I said, the Wheel of Fortune. That's the one that comes very soon. But later on, there can be other smaller features like this. This one is fairly common, quite specific to the shop section, etc. But there can be also smaller features that are 100% focused on your player activity and those kind of things. It's not going to be, I'm not saying that the monetization is the only thing we're going to look at for small features. Small features can be pretty much anything that is not requiring a lot of development. And those will also likely come in between the very big ones. So, for example, because I know we've been talking about that a lot, something like the merchant, it's something we consider as a small feature because it doesn't require too much development on our side. The main challenge for the merchant and why it's not there yet is the balancing. Because we knew we were going to introduce the faction advantages, we were going to rework the artifacts, which those are done, right? I'm not talking about changing the artifacts anymore. That's not the plan. But because we're talking about that, because we're also talking about changing, adding the commanders features with more bonuses, etc., releasing the merchant is easier to do once we don't have gameplay modifier that we are planning to do right away. So if you think about the the next features after the commander, clan wars, it's not going to change anything to a feature like the merchant. But the commander's features, it does change things, because if it, yeah, so as I was saying, if it comes with a new currency, we have to make sure that this currency is balanced out as well in the merchant system. So yeah, that's something that could still come. somewhere this year as well. We will have smaller stuff coming in. I'm only mentioning the main one that I know is coming. That's why we are talking about the Wheel of Fortune, because this one is coming this month. But there will be others coming, that's for sure. And again, I think we can all agree that if by the end of the year we can look back and say, okay, this year we released the new UI, changed everything there, released the commander features, added the battle reports, which we will still develop a bit further as well for the battle reports. I know that there are a few suggestions that came that already, and we're pretty much on it as well. That's part of the UI rework for us because it's part of the same release. That's why I didn't mention it separately. But for the battle reports, actually, what I will do is that for the last fight, which will start in a second, we'll look at the battle report and we'll talk about it for a second. But the battle reports, um, we plan to make a few small changes there as well. So there will be things coming in if we are able to have the UI change, if we are able to have the commanders features, if we are able to get the early clan wars, to have the Wheel of Fortune, we've had the faction advantages as well that were released this year. If all of that is released this year, we'll be able to say that it was a successful and mostly big year for the game in general. So that's what we aim at, and I'm quite hopeful that we'll be able to do all of that. So let's check the battle reports for a second here. It was a defeat. I got my ass severely kicked, but that's not the point. What I wanted to mention in here is that on the battle reports, there are a few things that we hope and plan to change. One of them is the size of the font for the units, damage, shields, etc. At the moment, it's too small. It will get bigger, that's for sure. A small display bug that some players shared with us is the fact that, uh, as you can see, the power stones are not in the proper order. So that's something we'll try to fix as well. It shouldn't be a big deal. There's also the problem that for some units, um, if you have okay, here's the thing: if you have put the maximum number of power stones for the number of slots you have for the level of that unit, everything looks good. If you have more power stone slots that are empty, for example, here my opponent at the I think it's the spirit shield that had only one power stones, where it could have two more. Right now it's showing this way. But what we spotted is that some of the units that can only have two power stones, um, like, usually it's the traps and stuff like this, those, even if they can get only two power stones, they show that you could have three. And that's a small display issue, but that's something we need to correct. We will also change the upgrade information, because the problem is you already see that information on the side with the units, so there's no need in adding this information in. What we will put instead of the upgrade level here will be the kill counts, because right now you can see the damage done by a unit, but you don't see how many other opponent units were killed by that unit. And so that's what we are going to be adding in there. On the longer run, we hope to also be able to display to you on the commander screen, on the battle reports, the commander that is used by your opponent. That will only be relevant once the commander bonuses are in. And we want also to show other stuffs, like one of the big ones that was requested is to show whether the player has the seasonal power boost. So that's also something we would like to show in the battle reports. And ideally, I will fight as much as I can so that the battle reports become available for friendly fights. because that would make my life easier. But I think for most players as well, it would be a good learning curve, because you would learn a lot more from any friendly fight you have if you were able to um, get the battle reports. So that's also something we'll be doing. Okay, so in the meantime, let me close and grant the rewards to players. There's one thing I wanted to check before, because if I don't do it now, it will be too late. I'm just looking for the player we mentioned earlier that was a brand new player, and we where are you? Where are you? There was another one. Sorry guys, I'm just taking a second there. If I don't do it now, it's pretty much over for that player. We'll never be able to find that player again. Uh, oh, I think that was that was our opening player, if I remember correctly. Or was it the one maybe from yeah, oh, that was from the easy fight. Okay. So yeah, I will check on that later on. Anyway, let me close the event, grant you guys your rewards. There we go. And thank you for joining the stream. I will be leaving you for today. We'll talk to each other. We'll have to see if it's going to be next week or the week after, because technically to get back on our usual schedule, that would be next week. But depending on the features advancement, I might wait for the week after so that I can show you the Wheel of Fortune when we do the next stream. But also because with all the days off and stuff like this in the month of May, which is always a bit particular, we might have to go this way. So I will see. I will let you know. You will get the information. And in any case, if it's not this week, if it's not next week, that would be the following one, and we'll go back to the regular schedule after that, no matter what. But yeah, I just need this to be sorted depending on where we are with the releases. Okay, folks, that's basically it on my side. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. And yeah, we'll talk to each other very soon. Have a wonderful evening and see you in a week or two. Bye.